These are just my true humble opinions. Sideways dynos can all be categorized as in, out, in. They are all connected respectively to charge, swing, jump. Let me demonstrate on this pink problem. The charge, I go into the wall. The swing, I come out from the wall. And the jump back up into the wall. In, out, in, charge, swing, jump. To demonstrate in a control environment to show why this pattern is so important, using this door frame, in, out, in forces the hips to come back into the wall, which makes it a lot more feasible to catch the next hold, which in essence is a very good thing. You can do no wrong if you follow this. In forces your hips to shoot out away from the wall because you have no forward momentum driving you into the wall. It's not exactly the best thing to do. In, out is simply what we call lack of commitment. While in, out is a great way to test out the hold to see if it's good, it's not really good for anything besides testing things out. Now you want to keep in mind that you want to move your hips, not necessarily your body. Right here you can see me do this blue dynamic climb and it looks like I just jumped straight to the side. In actuality, before I jump, I press my right foot low on the volume to allow space between the wall and my hips. This space allows me to drive my hips into the wall, however minute, for the last step, the in, out, in. And again, even though it looks like I just jumped to the side, here's what actually happened. Let me just exaggerate a little bit. I swung with my hips like this, and I felt a legitimate circling of my hips. There was no sideways action. There was only this in, out, in formula working. Although it is very hard to see on the actual problem, this is exactly what I did with my hips. From side to side, this pink problem and this blue problem follow the exact same formula. The pink just so happens to be more dynamic, while the blue is a bit more precarious. Important note, when jumping, you want to maintain a tall torso and a high center of mass. So do not make the mistake of loading into your legs super low in hopes that the more range of motion you have, the higher you will go. I want you to take note of how my legs are relatively straight. A relatively straighter leg gives you way more power than the leg that's completely bent. In addition, the larger the swing, the more potential you have into going into the wall. So you want to keep your arms as straight as possible when you sideways dyno. Of course, sometimes you are forced to have a more bent arm, but the formula remains the same, in, out, in. This example is a good opportunity to talk about hip twist. Obviously, I cannot generate this type of action from this position, but I can micro-replicate it using my hips. Let me just slightly exaggerate what happened here. Right here, my left hip went into the wall. This opened up my right hip to give it space to swing into the wall. In, out, in. It's always this same formula. Now, the most important thing about Sideways Dyno, I believe, is to jump up. Why? This blue is a perfect example. Observe. Let's ignore this hold. Most people, when trying to do this jump, they eye the hold to the left. And because of that, they change all their momentum and they charge and jump straight to the left. And thus, their body is way too sideways to catch the hold properly. And if they do catch it, they have so much leftward momentum that they will just simply fall off. They are too focused on going sideways. That's the issue here. You want to jump literally as straight up and high as you can. Your sideways direction / momentum will come from your arm swing and your initial setup. The so essential upward momentum and upward lift will come from your leg pushing directly beneath your body and pushing you straight up at that. Though my torso is initially going left right from the get-go, my body feels as if it's still rising straight up due to my right leg pushing completely straight down. And thus, this allows me to acquire enough lift to actually allow my body and arms to latch onto the hold without completely spitting off of it. And if applicable, you should always aim to catch the hold with bent arms. Catching with bent arms allows you to absorb the shock a lot better. Not only that, it protects your shoulders a great deal. Now, of course, there are some problems that are best caught with a straight arm. I just couldn't so happen to find any this day. Now, lastly, I'm sure you noticed this kick from my first example. What the kick does is it helps extend your momentum away from the wall and back into the wall, just like a really large pendulum. Though it is a bit more coordination dependent, doing so gives you a bit more oomph when you have to do these bigger swings. And that's it for Sideways Dynos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, partner.